Hi, this is Dr. McClellan, and this video is about the research assignment. All right, so I've got my outline here. I'm going to wait 20 minutes for that to open. So I'm going to save my file. Oh, that's not what I want. I just want a desktop. So I'm going to save my file. I saved it as my outline. Wow, okay. And now I'm going to open it back up. I've opened it back up, and I'm going to save it as my Essay 1 research assignment. Okay. So this video is about the research assignment, and I'm going to go over the who, what, where, when, why, hows. So the reason we do our research assignment this way is because, unlike perhaps you learned in high school, you don't go get a bunch of research and then write an essay around your research. You write your pre-writing and you organize it in a coherent, unified manner, so your pre-writing has depth and scope already. And then you organize it so that it has coherency and unity. Now we're going to go find research to support what we have said. So we want to support something that we've said in our essay. Well, what will eventually be our essay in our outline. So we need to look up our topic, and then we need to look up our major supporting details with our topic. So let's go with apples. And I know there's research, remember, because I've already done a little bit of initial research to make sure that this is an academic topic. And so over here on the left, I'm going to click full text. You want to click full text, and you really want to use PDFs because you don't want to have to pay to get something or wait to get an article. I'm clicking, so I clicked scholarly peer-reviewed journals, and then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say academic journals because I don't need any other type of, I don't need all of these different types of results. I need academic journals. Okay, so I've got apples. So I've got 18,210 hits. That's too many hits. So I'm going to click advanced search, and I'm going to put my first, there we go. Sometimes when you're typing, it'll drop down and give you some options. I'm going to put my first major supporting detail, and I'm going to click search. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to look at each of these. Now, I really do advise that you stay away from these types of links because they typically don't go anywhere. Now, just looking at the titles, I can tell, well, it has the word fiber in it, but it doesn't really say anything about apples in the beginning of it. But if you look here under subjects, these are like little keywords. It has bold-faced dietary fiber and apples. So it does talk about dietary fiber in apples. So if I click on this, it's going to open up an article. Be sure that you download these articles. I'm the copy and paste queen when I can be. Okay, so I have saved this article. That means I've saved it to whatever computer I'm on, and I can go back to that computer, or if you put it in Dropbox or OneDrive or whatever you're using for cloud storage, I can go back and pull that article up. Then I'm going to look for a quote to go with what I've already said about fiber. And so how I'm going to do that is, first of all, I'm going to ignore the abstract and practical applications. and I'm going to look at the introduction, and I'm specifically looking, I'm actually just scanning. I'm looking for words that, I'm looking for the word apple and fiber. Now, one way, I'm going to show you another way you can do this. Another way you can do this, now remember I downloaded this article, and see it's right here. Oh, y'all haven't been able to see this, have y'all? Okay, sorry. So here's my article. I'm going to do that process again. I don't want to restart this video. I'm going to download this. I'm going to download this article. So I'm going to click copy, because I'm just going to copy that part of the title. And then when I download it, paste that in there, click save. Yes, I already saved it. And so I've downloaded it, and it's in my downloads. So now I can go to my downloads. There's my article. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to open with, there we go, Adobe Acrobat. If you have one of these types of, and there's plenty of them, they're free ones. One of the things that you can do is, as you're looking, sometimes they give you the search. Yeah. Let me pull this article over here. Actually, let me get rid of that. Let me pull my article over here. I forget. I have two screens, and I forget that y'all can't see the other screen. Okay, so I went to, I'm looking for a search option. Find. There it is. Find. You see the find box over here on the right? I'm looking for Apple. Okay, here's the thing. Stay away from the abstract or practical applications. I'm looking for the word apple or fiber in the rest of this document. So let's see if I did it right. And I am just scanning. And I'm looking at it, and I'm pretty sure that that's the only place that it has the word apples in it. That's kind of odd. Let me try it again from here. Yep, that's the only place other than on, see, because here I have apple. So other than on the tables, there's no apple. So that's not a good one. So I'm going to come back over here. Oh, I don't want that one. That's the wrong one. Okay, so I know that that's not a good secondary source, so I'm going to go back to result list, and I'm going to keep looking. There we go, dietary fiber. I think this is, yeah, I don't think this one's going to work either. I can tell just by looking at it. So let's go down one more. Oh, there we go. There we go. Apples as a source of soluble and insoluble dietary fibers, effective dietary fibers on appetite. Well, let's see if it'll let me open this PDF. Ah, yep. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy that part of the title so that I can paste it and save it. And what I'm looking for are the words apple and fiber. Oh, there we go. And remember, DF stands for dietary fibers. So here's a quote. I'm going to copy it. It's not a quote of a quote. If you see something in brackets, a name or a number in brackets or parentheses after a sentence that you want to use a direct quote, you want to directly quote this sentence, then you can't use it because it's somebody else's quote. So like, for example, you could not use this sentence as a quote because see, that's a in-text citation. It has an in-text citation after it, and you can't use in-text citations because those are somebody else's quotes. So let me go back to so here's my outline, and I think I'm going to put it right in here. And I'm going to make it part of my outline. And remember, quotes have to go over one more. There we go. Now I need to go ahead and put this in quotation marks. Notice I'm going to put the end quotation marks. Let me make this to where you can see it. I'm just going to use the format painter. Okay. And actually I'm going to boldface it so that you can see it better. Notice that I put my closing quotation marks between the last word of the quote and the period. And I did that because you have to put an in-text citation in between the closing quotation mark and the period. There's no period at the end of your direct quote. All right, so direct quotes need a lead-in, they need the direct quote, and they need an in-text citation. So the easiest kind of lead-in to a quote is to say according to and then the author's name. So let me split my screen here. And I need to come get my author's name. So there are two of them. There is, oh, I know I'm not going to say this right, so forgive me if anybody has these names. E.A. Efemetseva and T.I. Chelpanova, Ebenepsa and Chelpalova. So these are the author's names. And they must be Russian because this is from the Russian Academy of Sciences. Okay, so I have two authors' names. Now, if you have two authors' names, you put both authors' names. Now, they only provide you with initials and last name. So that's what I'm going to use here until I find out different. Now, when I do my works cited entry, and I'll show you that in a minute, if I have, if I find that they have, if I find somewhere their first names, then I'm going to use their first names. Okay, so here's my whole lead-in. According to EF, check your spelling, EFIMTSEVA and T.I. Chelpanova, apples, Malus domestica, are a popular dietary fiber source and are available in all seasons of the year. Okay, now I need to put in my in-text citation. Okay, if you use the author's names, name or names in your lead-in, then you put the article's title in your in-text citation. And we only need, if you have a long title, if it has a colon in it, you only need up to the colon. So I'm going to copy and paste this information, and I'm going to merge formatting, use merge formatting so that it will make it the same size and style. Now, journal article titles always, always, always open and close with quotation marks. They always, always, always open and close with quotation marks. Now, if I did this the other way, if I put according to and the journal, the article title, then I would put the author's names here. The next thing I need, and then I'll go over it again, is the page number. Do not look at the page number on the PDF. Look on the page number on the document. And this is page 224. All right, let's make this big. So that's what your quotation should look like in your outline, in your research outline. There are other ways to do it, which we will talk about in the second essay, but this one is fine. Now, if you do already know the other ways, you're welcome to do it. And the other problem that you may run into, that you may have to edit, is if you have 3 or more authors' names, then you're going to have to use a different formatting. Actually, it's not formatting, it's information. You would use the author's first and last name, and then the abbreviation, the Latin abbreviation, et al for others, which means and others. And I'll show you how to do that if that's the case for you. Okay, so lead in, authors' names, direct quotes. I don't do paraphrasing. I don't do paraphrasing, so all the essays in this class will be direct quotes. Direct quote, and then the in-text citation. Notice that I have a comma after my lead-in, a space, then I start my direct quote with quotation marks. I have a space. I end with a quotation mark. I have a space. Open the parentheses. Article title with quotation marks, both beginning and ending, opening and closing. A space. The page number. There's no abbreviation. There's no hashtag. There's no word page. Close the parentheses, and then a period. And it helps if you remember that quotation marks and parentheses have 2 sets. One at the beginning, which is called the opening, and one at the end, which is called the closing. So you'll have an opening and a closing quotation marks, and you'll have opening and closing parentheses. And you don't need to reformat this in any way. This is part of your quote. Okay, so now I have to go and I have to come down here, and I have to do my works cited entry. And you want it on another page, so I'm going to give myself a page break. There we go. You need the title, and the title for this page is going to be works cited. Yes, I know essay 1 only needs 1 secondary source, so it is only 1 entry. Let's still call it works cited. When you come down to the next line, be sure that you go back to the left margin. And this is the beauty of using the library and why I prefer it. Nope, that's not it. All right, so I'm back at the library's website. Here's my article. I can close this now. I'm going to open this again. And over on the right-hand side of the screen, you see the words cite. The word cite, C-I-T-E. It's the 4th one or 3rd one. That's the 4th one up. Click it. And this box opens up at the top of the page. And when you scroll down, you're looking for, see the blue words? You're looking for MLA, because they're not automatically done in MLA on the article. So here is my MLA works cited entry for this PDF, for this article. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to open up my document, and I'm going to paste that information under my works cited title, and I'm going to use merge formatting. If I use keep source formatting, it's going to be wrong and it's going to have that weird gray background, which I don't want. If I use keep text only, it's going to put it in the right font, but it's going to remove the italics from the journal title. So I'm going to click merge formatting. Now I'm not finished. So I still have, in my works cited entry, I still don't have first names for my authors. So I don't need to change my lead in. Check this to make sure, listen to me closely, check this to make sure that all of this is formatted correctly. It does not always come over exactly like it's supposed to. Sometimes the author's names are in not the right order. Sometimes they're in all caps. Don't assume because you got this from the library that it's in the perfect, that it's formatted correctly. So you want to make sure that none of the names are all caps. You want to make sure that the first author is listed by last name first, that there's a comma. Let me make this big. There we go. So last name first, then the first name are the initials. If there's more than one author, then if there's two authors, you're going to use the word and. Don't forget your comma. I know this looks weird to put a period and a comma next to each other, but that's the way it's done. And then the second author's first name and then their last name. The only name in a works cited entry that is formatted last name, comma, first name is the first author's name. Now, if you have 3 or more authors, that's when you need to get into the et al. And I'll talk to you individually on your assignments about that. Make sure there's a period. Make sure that none of the words in the article's title, and we do use the entire title on the works cited entry, make sure that they are all properly capitalized. Make sure that the right words are capitalized, and make sure that nothing is all caps. So this is the title of our journal article, and this is the title of the journal we got it out of. So just like article titles are always, always, always enclosed in quotation marks, journal titles are always italicized. This is called a container title. So the article is in this journal along with probably about 50 other articles. So always make sure that your journal title, like a movie title or a book title, is italicized. Now the rest of the information is publication information. This is the volume number. This is the volume number of the Human Psychology Journal. So this is volume 46. So that would be probably the 46th year that this Human Physiology Journal has been published, which means it is, oh, somebody do the math. So it's 46 years old, so they started it back in the 1990s. This is the second issue of this year, of this volume. And so the second issue was published in March of 2020. And then the page range is 224 to 234. So I could take this information and I could literally, if I wanted to, either go to the library, pull this volume of Human Physiology off the shelves, out of the stacks, and go to page 224 to 234 and find this article, take it to a copy machine and make copies of it. Or if I put in a library loan request or a library request with the help desk or the reference librarian, they could give me, I would give them this information and they would send me or email me this article. Because this information, this is the DOI information. This is DOI. Oh gosh, don't ask me what it stands for. I never can remember, but it is the permanent web address of this article. So I know that I can go here if I have access and I could find this article. Okay, so we're not done. Now we have to physically format it. We've checked all of the MLA formatting on what needs to be italicized, what needs to have quotation marks around it, everything that's spelled correctly, presented in the correct order. Now I need to do the physical formatting, and you do that, you have to make this a hanging indent. And a hanging indent, remember it this way, the first line of an entry hangs on to that left margin. Everything else moves over to the right. And there are many ways to do this. YouTube videos or Google instructions, written instructions, how to do this. This is how I do it. I put my cursor at the top. I put it at the, let me say that again. I put it at the end of the line above the one that I want to move. So I want to use fibers, effective dietary effects on appetite line. So I'm going to put my cursor at the end of the line above it, and I'm going to hit enter. See, I have a little weird space. I'm going to tab it. Let me do that again. Let me do it again. See that weird space? Take that space out, or your tab won't be correct. It'll be over one space too many. And then I'm just hitting the tab button, and it moves it over. Okay, now I need to move this one down also, so it's part of the hanging indent. So I'm going to put my cursor at the end of the line above the one I want to move, and then I'm going to tab it. Now, what has happened here, don't panic, what has happened is the computer sees I lost my 20. The computer sees all of this information as one sentence. And so to try and keep as much of it on the same line as possible, it split it for me, but this is not where it needs to be split. I need to move some of this URL up to this space because you can't have this large blank space here. So first of all, let me see if I can just delete. No. So I need to fill this space in. I think I could probably split this. So I'm going to split this URL again. I put my cursor, I'm just eyeballing it. I think I could put it right there. And I just hit the space bar. Let me show you again. Go back where we were. Okay, so I just measured it out. I actually just measured it out with my fingers. I've done this for so long that I can generally just eyeball it. So I'm going to put my cursor right there after the slash, and I'm just tapping my space bar. And when I tap the space bar, it separates the URL. It just separates it. And now I've filled in this space. I'm going to go in, I'm right clicking because you have to get rid of your hyperlink. So, and the way you do it where I'm doing it is you right click it and then you left click on remove hyperlink. Now I've got one more thing I need to do. I need to make sure that this is all double spaced. So I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to make it all 2.0. Now you'll notice you're going to get this weird thing here. So, oh, no, go back. See, this already has a space. So don't make that a double space. Did y'all see that? Let me go back. Okay. See how this line and this line already have a space between them? They're already double spaced. You don't want to double space anything in an essay. So I'm actually going to just highlight the part that is not double spaced and double space it. And now see that this has the same space between it that this does. Now, if this doesn't work out for you, what you have to do is go no spacing, or you're going to have to remove all of the formatting, or still do no spacing, which of course, and you might want to do this from the beginning to make it easy on yourself, but you're going to have to come up and reformat everything. When you do that, make sure that you remember to italicize Human Physiology, your journal title. And you're going to have to remake your hanging indents and remove your hyperlink again. And then there you go. Or what you could do, here's another thing, another way you could do it. Once you've done all this, you could go ahead and double space it and then redo your tabs. Okay, so that's what it should look like. I'm sorry, y'all, that this is such a long video. Now, the next thing you need, if you're reading the instructions, is you need an annotation. So this is what an annotation should answer. Where's my assignment page at? Oh, I guess I got rid of it. Okay, so an annotation answers the questions. What is this article about? Why does this article support this essay? And notice I'm writing in third person. Or how does this article support this essay? And why are these authors credible? Okay, so you need 3 to 4 sentences that answer these questions. So what is this article about? So you have to read your articles, enough of your articles. No, I don't expect you to know every single word in the article. You need to read enough of it to know what this article is about. So this article is about a study of the fiber in apples and its effects on humans. Because I've read this article, right? This article supports this essay because this essay also discusses the fiber in apples. So I've answered that question. I'm going to go ahead and answer the how question too. How does this article, but I'm going to change my sentence up a little bit. Both this article and this essay present fiber in apples in a positive manner. Okay, and then why are these authors credible? Well, if we, oh, no. If we look at our article again, we can say that this article, that the authors, let me move it over here so you guys can see it, that the authors of this article, that these guys, male, men or women, that these researchers are credible because they have provided research, they have provided secondary sources, they have provided data. So for example, here are the ingredients in apples. Here is data based on a study about rats that they gave apples to who had cancer tumors, and the cancer tumors got smaller. So not only does it present data, let me get down here, it also presents a whole slew of references. That's what, 3 pages? so far, 4 pages. That's 4 pages of references. So these authors are credible because they present data and research in their article. Okay, now we don't leave this like this. I just put the questions here because I had closed the assignment and couldn't pull them out of there. So we're going to take the questions out and we're going to make this into a paragraph. So all of these sentences, you know, your 3 or 4 sentences need to form a paragraph. Remember that paragraphs are in, the first line is indented. So here's my indented line. Now I'm going to move the rest of these sentences up here so that it makes a paragraph. I can either put, I like to put my cursor where I want something to move and then use the delete key. Oops. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, but most of the time it does. Now this is a block. This is not a paragraph. So I need to move all this to the left margin. Yeah. So I need to, there we go. And what I did is I came up here and I used the decrease indent, and now I need to tab that over. So now I have a works cited page with a title. I have my works cited entry, and I have an annotation, which is a paragraph, and it focuses on what this article is about, how and why this article supports this essay. You refer to the essay in third person, and why these authors are credible, so that I know there's no bias in this article. Let's go back up and we'll review this real quick and then I'll stop this god awful long. This is probably the longest video you'll have to watch on any of the units. All right, so this was my outline. I saved it as the research assignment. I found a quote about fiber in apples that fits in what I've already said. It supports what I've already said. I formatted my works cited page with a works cited page title. I copied and pasted my citation from the library's website. I made sure that all the formatting was correct, and then I formatted it as a hanging indent. I read the article enough to be able to answer these 4 questions. What's the article about? Why does this article support this essay? How does this article support this essay? And why are these authors credible? All right. If you have questions, contact me, and have a good day.